Mia Daniels had never been the kind of person to believe in ghosts. She believed in closure and moving on. In the practical, especially after her best friend, Emma Chase, died in a car accident 6 months ago. Emma had run a red light on her way home from a late shift at the diner, and Mia had just fallen asleep thanks to her new allergy meds. They'd texted goodnight, and that was the last message Emma ever got. So when Mia got a notification, that night, on Emma's old number, her heart nearly stopped. Hey, I've been thinking about what you said. You okay? No reply. Just the familiar double gray check marks that locked her message in limbo. Left on red. At first she blamed it on a service error or a glitch. But Emma's SIM card was long gone. The phone number retired. No active service. That's impossible, yet there it was. Mia's phone buzzed again 2 nights later. I miss you. Why did you leave me? Each message showed as coming from Emma's number. Mia's hand shook as she stared at her screen. All her texts to the void. Read, but always silent in reply. Over the next week, more messages arrived. I'm cold. Can you help me? They came at odd hours, 2:13 a.m., 3:43 a.m., 5:17 p.m., no pattern. But every message was read the moment they arrived. No typing indicator. No reply, just read. Mia's sleep evaporated. She stopped eating. Went through Emma's belongings, photo albums, letters, her favorite scarf for answers, but nothing logical explained it. Just grief and electric fear. After a month of soul-crushing sleeplessness, Mia set up a hidden app to log incoming SMS with timestamps. She tracked messages over 6 nights. Night 1, 3:17 a.m., I can't breathe. Night 2, 2:44 a.m., help me. Night 3, 4:04 a.m., you forgot. Night 4, dead silence, then at 12:02 a.m. next day, don't ignore me. Night 5, 3:17 a.m., I'm in your room. The last one froze her blood. She lied down that night. Heart pounding, phone gripped in hand. At 3:17 a.m., she heard her phone buzz on the nightstand. I'm in your room. The message showed red. Her ears caught a soft scraping beyond her bedroom door. Mia froze. After a minute, the scritching stopped. She called Emma's name. No answer, but her phone buzzed one more time. Miss me? Days blurred into restless nights. Mia started recording audio at home. She set her phone to loop recorder all night. The next morning, she'd wake and review the file. Usually nothing. But one recording at 3:17 a.m. revealed something unusual. Soft humming, Emma's lullaby. The one she hummed after every shift. Then a faint voice overlapping. Mia. She flinched as if slapped. Play it again, same thing. Emma whispering. Mia couldn't help herself. She replied via SMS. Emma, is that you? No reply, but the next night a message showed. Only if you came to me. Mia's friends grew worried. Her boyfriend, Aaron, guilt tripped her into entering grief, counseling and turning in Emma's phone to the police as evidence of harassment. But cops told her no valid leads, no active number, nothing that could constitute a crime. Desperation, Mia took Emma's old phone and number. She left it by her bed at night and whispered, if it's you, come into this phone. I need to know. That night at 3:17 a.m., both phones buzzed simultaneously. Mia's main phone, I'm here. Emma's old phone, help me. Then came the knocks, soft, on Mia's bedroom door, once, twice, 3 times, each synchronized with the pings. She didn't answer. Mia cried for hours until morning came, and the messages stopped. 3 nights later, she tipped into delusion. She didn't sleep. She messaged Emma, show me. Then at 3:17 a.m., the message OK hovered on her screen with the read ticks. She took a shaky breath and flicked on the desk lamp. There, crouched near her phone, was a girl-shaped silhouette, thin still, and hands stretched toward the screen. Mia froze. The creature had no eyes, no mouth, just a pale, immobile face. And Emma's voice whispered, you came. Mia screamed and bolted from the room. She didn't return for 12 hours. Mia moved out of her apartment that morning. She packed fast, loaded Emma's old phone and her own into a cardboard box labeled Do Not Open. She drove 60 miles away, into her parents' basement, and tried to seal herself off. That night she slept briefly. At 3:17 a.m., her phone buzzed upstairs. She didn't dare look. Her parents heard the buzz and her scream. On the kitchen floor the next morning, Mia huddled in a corner. Phone on the table playing a looped recording. Help me. Help. Me. That last message came from Emma's number. The box was gone. And Mia never saw Emma's number again. Emma's duplex in town is up for sale. The sign says, perfectly updated, bring your style. But every night, buyers report something strange. The front lights flicker at 3:17 a.m. Their phones suddenly display new voicemail. From Emma Chase, no audio when they open it. Sometimes just for a moment. They look at the wall and see someone standing. A girl-shaped silhouette. Staring, they try to leave. And then their phone buzzes. We found you. It's read instantly. Claire Whitman was a freelance writer, living alone in a small apartment on the outskirts of Seattle. 2 years ago, her husband Mark had died in a car accident. Since then, Claire's life had been stuck in neutral. Wake up, work on half-finished manuscripts, stare blankly at her laptop, and try to outright the grief. Her entire life was stored digitally. She kept everything in Google Docs. Articles, short stories, journals. Most were unfinished drafts. But one night something strange happened, something that didn't feel like a glitch. It started on a quiet Wednesday evening. Claire opened her laptop to work on a grief article for a wellness blog. But when her Google Docs page loaded, there was a document she didn't recognize. For you, Claire. She hadn't created it. The last edited line said it was modified 3 hours ago. Curious, she clicked it. There was only one line of text. I see you typing. A second later, her laptop shut down. Not just froze, shut down completely. When she powered it back up, the file was gone. She tried to laugh it off. Maybe it was a random shared file or a Google glitch. But deep down, her chest felt tight. The next morning, she received an email. It was from her own address. Subject, did you see it? Body. I know you're alone. She checked the sent folder. Nothing. She hadn't written it. Her hands trembled slightly as she deleted the message. That night, another mysterious Google Doc appeared. Title, I'm watching. She opened it. The screen went white, then froze. That night, she didn't sleep. The following day, Claire packed her laptop and headed to a nearby coffee shop. Everything seemed fine. She managed to write a full draft and even started editing. But back home, her laptop once again opened a mystery doc on its own. Title, look behind you. She felt a chill. Slowly, she glanced over her shoulder. Nothing there. Suddenly, her webcam flickered on for a second and took a snapshot. Then the screen switched to the Drawings tab inside. Google Docs. A crudely drawn figure appeared. A tall woman in the corner of a room, her face obscured by long black hair. Claire slammed the laptop shut and locked her bedroom door. She didn't touch the computer again that night. In a panic, Claire called Jack, her old college friend and Mark's best friend. Jack worked in cybersecurity. She told him everything, the drafts, the emails, the drawings. Could be a bad hack, Jack said. But honestly, this sound off. Disconnect everything for now. Claire turned off Wi-Fi, airplane mode. No apps running. But the next time she opened her laptop offline, a new draft was waiting. Title, I'm here. The words appeared one by one. Your world is my draft. Claire closed the lid and cried. This wasn't a virus. This wasn't a hacker. This was something else. Jack came over the next day with tools. He scrubbed her drive, deleted suspicious apps, disconnected smart devices, and even physically removed her webcam. That night, Claire and Jack sat together in her living room with the laptop closed on the coffee table. At 3:17 a.m., the laptop powered on by itself. The screen glowed. Google Docs opened on its own. New document title, You Let Me In. The document filled itself with words rapidly. Hundreds, then thousands. Then it stopped. 3 words blinked at the bottom. She's behind you. A loud crack came from Claire's bedroom. They ran. The laptop was tossed into the trash the next morning. Jack convinced Claire to step away from technology. She took a break from writing, disconnected her accounts, and got help for the trauma she never fully processed after Mark's death. For a while, things were quiet. She got a new job in a small publishing office. She used only pen and paper. Jack gave her a burner phone. No smart features. But some nights, she'd wake up and swear she could still hear her keyboard clacking. even though her laptop was gone. 6 months later, Jack was cleaning his office and came across Claire's old laptop. He decided to boot it up one last time before recycling it. As soon as it connected to Wi-Fi, Google Docs launched on its own. A new file appeared. Title, Her Audience. Jack hesitated and clicked. It read, "Jack, I have so many drafts. You're just one of them now." Jack stared at the screen as the lights in his office dimmed, and behind him a soft whisper echoed from nowhere. "She lurks in drafts." It started at midnight on the first Tuesday of April, drizzling just enough to blur the streetlights. Harper Reynolds lived alone in Cedar Falls, a quiet suburb in Oregon. She'd moved into her grandmother's old craftsman house 6 months ago after Grandma June passed away. Harper loved its hardwood floors, cozy fireplace, and memories folded into dusty photo frames. But that night, something changed. Harper was finishing her shift at the local library, shelving books and answering final desk questions. She walked home under steady rain, keys jangling in her coat pocket. By the time she unlocked the door, her glasses were fogged and her cheeks chilled. She felt watched, but the house was silent, warm-lit, empty. After a quick dinner and hot shower, she curled into bed by midnight. At exactly 12:13 a.m., a soft knock echoed through the hushed hallway, a polite tap, not frantic. Harper froze, heart thumping. She stared at the door. Who would knock this late? Her phone buzzed, a text from her friend Maya. "Long night?" Harper typed back, "Yeah, why?" A few seconds later, "Just checking in before bed." No sooner had the message gone out than the knock came again, louder, deliberate. "Knock, knock!" Her breath caught. She didn't move. The knock sounded human. Wood against wood, measured. She glanced at her phone, 12:16 a.m. She snuck out of bed and peered through the peephole. Nothing but an empty hallway. Dim light, no porch or window that should be open. She texted Maya again. "Hey, someone just knocked." "Do cops answer knocks?" Maya replied instantly. "Ha! Not on midnight ghost stories." Harper wished she'd known what she was dealing with. She locked the door again, slipped the chain on, and climbed back into bed. But sleep didn't come. Night 2, 12:13 a.m., same polite knock, same disturbing echo. Harper didn't answer. She texted Maya again. "It's happening again." Maya just replied, "Girl, stop watching so many horror movies." Night 3, 12:13 a.m. She didn't hear anything at first. Then 2 knocks after midnight. She dared herself to walk into the hallway. The door was tightly locked, shoes on the mat exactly where she left them. No footprints, no moisture, just the echo in the silence. Desperate, Harper installed a cheap Ring camera on the front porch. It recorded all night. She whispered to herself, "One more knock, I'll call 911. Of course, that night nothing happened. No knock, no ring. Harper slept terribly, woke with a gasp, and the camera sat untested on her bedside table. Tuesday morning, a note slipped under the front door. "Don't answer when it knocks." Harper froze. She thought maybe a prankster. But the handwriting was cursive, loopy and elegant, like Grandma's old letters. Her grandmother never wrote in block letters. She tucked the note in her pocket. She called Maya. "Now someone is under my door. This is not funny." Maya texted, "Whoever it is, never answer. Just stay safe." Harper filed the comment mentally. "Stay safe, yeah." The note sat on her desk all day, until she typed out her resignation letter at the library counter. She needed a break, something to get her mind off the nights. That night, she slept in her childhood friend Ben's guest room across town. But at midnight, at Ben's place, knock. Mild, polite, 3 taps. It came from outside the guest room window. Ben heard it too. He grabbed a flashlight, swung the curtain open. No one. Just rain and the empty street. Harper and Ben sat in Stacy's diner booth at 5 a.m. Hands wrapped around coffees. "You okay?" asked Ben, concerned. "I don't know," she admitted. That knocking and the note. There's something wrong. Ben offered to camp out at her house. Still spooked, Harper walked home at dawn, Ben following. Porch was empty. Front door sealed tight. No disturbances. That night, they stayed on the couch with every light on. Midnight came. They didn't hear the knock. They fell asleep. Maybe the house was safe again. 2 hours later, Ben slipped from the couch. He followed a low hum toward Harper's bedroom. The front door was open. No wind, no forced entry. The door stood ajar. He closed it behind them. That night they slept with Ben at the door. Midnight passed, no sound. Harper exhaled, maybe it was over. At 2:13 a.m., both phones pinged at once with a text. "Who's next?" Sent from Harper's contact list. Both phones. No image, no signature. Just that line. Her jaw tightened. The air thickened. They stayed on guards until dawn. The morning brought exhaustion. Both were too sleep-deprived. But they went to the police to file a report about the note, the knocks, the breach. The officer listened calmly. "We'll drive through your block more often." They also set a patrol schedule for regular checks. Harper felt slightly safer, but also trapped. 2 nights passed quietly. Harper drifted back to normal. She returned to writing again. This time a children's ghost story about polite knocks and unattended doors. But the story twisted into her dreams, doors opening of their own accord. One night at 12:13 a.m. she woke up. The house was deathly silent. She lay there waiting. The knock came. Knock, knock. It was gentle, precise. Not nails. It felt like someone tapping to say hello. She texted, "Ben?" He replied, "At your door." Wrong. He was sleeping at his own home. Harper's heart pounded as she rolled out of bed in her bare feet. She texted the police hotline. "Someone is outside my door. Please come." She placed her keys in her clenched fist, about to open the bedroom door and peek into the hallway. 2 more knocks. She stopped. 3 men and 2 security guards were outside the house in the morning. The police said whoever knocked vanished. They set up alarm sensors on all doors and installed cameras. They replaced the door, added deadbolts. The knocking stopped for 2 nights. On the 3rd night, the front door rattled. Then, tap, tap, tap. A camera pinged with motion. A figure in a faded blue dress appeared, standing at the threshold, face half lit by porch light. Then she reached for the knob. Harper watched in horror. The camera caught a pale, delicate hand with dark nails, not wearing gloves. A dress too old-fashioned with lace cuffs. No face visible, tilted away. The feed flickered, then cut. Harper locked the door. Local news found a notice decades ago. A woman named Alice Graves died in Harper's house, long before it was rebuilt. She was a quiet immigrant seamstress, rumored to have an obsessive, polite spirit. Family said she'd tap at doors, softly asking to be let in, saying, "No one ever lets me in." Neighbors remembered a woman in a faded blue dress staring at the house on rainy April nights. The timing, April. The knots, 12:13. 2:13, a rising pattern. They found a small wooden plaque from the late 1800s, nailed behind the doorframe. "I only asked to come home." Harper stared. Her grandmother? Or someone else? Was it tied to Grandma June, who died of grief 2 years prior? Harper packed a small bag, laptop, books, plants. She moved into a furnished cabin 5 miles up the hill. No smart locks, no cameras. No internet except when she drove down to town. The first night she slept draped in thick quilts. At 12:13 a.m., no knock. At 2:13 a.m., no rattle. At 3:13 a.m., silence. She exhaled. But at 4:13 a.m., her phone buzzed with a text. "Missing home," signed from her own number. Harper never answered again. She lives quietly still, just off Main Street. She sold the house. The new owner, a young couple, reported the door sometimes. Knocks itself at 12:13 a.m. on rainy nights. She hopes they didn't answer. College radio stations have always had a certain mystique. Half ghost story, half caffeine-fueled rebellion. For WPRT 89.3 FM, the student-run radio out of Allerton University, that mystique turned into something far darker. It all started with a voice, faint, garbled, and very much not scheduled. Brandon Ruiz was a senior journalism student with dreams of joining NPR, or at least a decent podcast network. He took over the midnight slot at WPRT for extra credit and free studio time. No one wanted that shift, midnight to 2 a.m., Monday to Thursday, but Brandon didn't mind. He called it graveyard vinyls and leaned hard into lo-fi, jazz, and the occasional weird news segment. Room 103 was where it all happened. Buried in the sub-basement of the Humanities building. The studio was a leftover relic from the 1970s, all peeling foam panels and heavy analog gear. The elevator didn't reach the floor anymore. You had to take the stairs down 2 levels and unlock a heavy metal door with a rusted key labeled radio. One Tuesday in early October. As Brandon queued up a Mingus track, the equipment fritzed. The soundboard lights blinked, the monitors crackled, and then between static he heard it. A voice. Faint, unmistakably human. "Help, please." Still here. Brandon sat up. "What the hell?" He rewound the feed and played it again. Nothing, just static and saxophone. He assumed it was bleed-in from another frequency or a technical glitch. Then it happened again 2 nights later, louder, clearer. "I'm in 103. Don't leave me." This time it wasn't on tape. It was live. Brandon mentioned it the next day to Jessica Tran, the station manager and his longtime crush. She laughed it off, but her laughter was tight. "You know that story, right?" she asked, scrolling through her phone. "What story?" She found an article on the student forum, a decade old. Sophomore named Ellie. Griggs disappeared in 2011. Last seen heading into room 103 for her shift. She was subbing in for someone. Never came out. Security footage cut out that night. Brandon blinked. "And they just let people keep using the studio?" "Well, yeah. There's no proof she disappeared in there. And it's not like Allerton can afford to upgrade the station." Brandon felt a chill creep up his spine. She was last seen there. "And she's never been found." Jessica shrugged, uncomfortable. "People say it was a suicide. Others say she ran away." Brandon stared down at the studio key in his hand. Room 103 suddenly felt heavier. Over the next week, Brandon became obsessed. He started recording every second of his show. He scrubbed through the static during songs and commercial breaks. And he found them. More voices. Sometimes just syllables. Sometimes phrases. "I see you. It's cold down here. Don't turn off the mic." He thought about going to campus security, but what would he say? That a ghost was hijacking his radio show? Instead, he turned to Reddit. He posted the audio clips on R Unresolved Mysteries and R Paranormal. One comment stood out. "That sounds like EVP, electronic voice phenomena. Try broadcasting dead air at 1:03 a.m. See what happens." Brandon did exactly that, on a rainy Thursday night. At precisely 1:03 a.m. he stopped all music. No commentary, no sound effects, just open mic. For 1 minute there was nothing. Then a scream tore through the headphones, raw, wet, and close. He jumped so hard he yanked out his earbuds. On the airwaves, the scream faded into sobbing. "I'm still in here." Jessica came to find him the next day. "You need to stop," she said, pale and sleep-deprived. "I've been getting emails." People heard that scream. They thought it was a prank. "The dean's office is pissed." "I think she's trapped," Brandon said. "Ellie, I think she's broadcasting somehow. Maybe she died down there and she's stuck." Jessica shook her head. "There's nothing in that room. I've looked. Just old equipment." "Have you looked beneath it?" That night they returned together. Brandon brought a crowbar. Beneath the carpet in the soundproof booth, they found a hatch, rusted shut, bolted down. It took them 20 minutes to pry it open. Inside, darkness, and the smell of mildew and iron. Jessica hesitated. "This is a bad idea." Brandon climbed down. The space was no bigger than a crawl space, but lined with rotted insulation and soundproof tiles. It wasn't on any blueprint. In the corner, an old, broken reel-to-reel recorder. The tape still spun. He hauled the recorder upstairs. It took hours to restore the playback. The final recording made Brandon's stomach drop. It was Ellie. Her voice, her crying, her screaming, then clear as day. "They locked me in. Said I talked too much. Please, if anyone hears this, I'm in room 103, still. The tape ended. Jessica burst into tears. That night, WPRT went dark for the first time in 40 years. They tried to shut the station down. They sealed room 103, boarded it up, disconnected the transmitter. But every year on October 13th at exactly 1:03 a.m., any radio, tuned to 89.3 FM crackles to life. There's no music, no ads, just a voice. "I'm still here, waiting." And then silence. It started with an old laptop I found at a yard sale. The guy selling it was in his 60s, gray-bearded and distant, like he'd already checked out of the conversation before it began. $20, he muttered when I pointed to the dusty Dell with the cracked screen. "Needs charging. Don't dig around too much." I assumed he meant there was old tax stuff or embarrassing photos on it. Either way, I didn't care. I was a broke college student, and I needed something to take notes with. When I booted it up later that night, I found only one user account, Riley. No password. Most of the laptop was empty. No documents, no games, not even Chrome. It felt like someone had scrubbed it, but the desktop had a single shortcut named Class Notes. I clicked it. Nothing. It was broken, probably a missing file path. I right-clicked to check the properties. That's when I saw the full path location. Eerie users, Riley, app data roaming, help. I paused. Help? That wasn't a system folder, and app data is usually hidden. I manually navigated through the folders, revealing hidden files along the way. And there it was, a folder named Help buried deep in layers of nothing. Inside were 47 video files. No names, just dates. They started in late 2021 and ran through early 2023. Every one of them was between 30 seconds and 3 minutes long. I clicked on the first one. It was just a webcam recording. A college-age girl sat in front of the screen. Brown hair in a ponytail. Hoodie, tired eyes. Day 1, she said. I don't know what this is yet. I thought it was a prank, but I'm scared. The next one showed her at night, whispering under her breath. It knew my name. Each file was darker than the last. In some, she was crying. In others, she refused to speak. Around the 10th video, I noticed scratches on the walls behind her. Deep ones, claw marks maybe. By video 20, her bedroom door, visible in the background, was always open. And something moved in the shadows. Something tall, too tall. I watched in a trance, every new video worse than the one before. The room degraded over time. The girl, Riley I assumed, looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Her eyes were red. Her voice was barely a whisper. In the 43rd video, she held a piece of paper to the camera. It read, "If you find this, it knows." I stopped there, but curiosity clawed at me like the scratches on her walls. What had happened to her? I tried to Google her. Riley, college-aged. Maybe somewhere in New York based on a poster in the background, but nothing came up. The next morning, I woke to a flicker of light from my laptop. It had powered on by itself. A new video file had appeared, dated today. My heart dropped. I opened it. It was my room. The angle was from my ceiling corner, opposite my bed. The view showed me sleeping, turned away from the screen. The footage was shaky, like it had been recorded by hand. It ended with a whisper. Not from the person recording, but from next to my bed. It knows you watched. I slammed the laptop shut. For the next few days, I tried to forget it. I didn't sleep. I kept the lights on. The laptop stayed closed. Until last night. Another file. It started the same, my room. But this time I was awake, lying in bed, on my phone. Then I saw it. From the corner of the frame, something stepped out from the shadows. Thin limbs, no face. Just a blur, like reality couldn't quite hold on to it. Crept closer, closer. I watched in frozen horror as it reached for me. The screen went black. I looked around. The room was empty, but I noticed something new this morning. Scratches. On my wall. Just like Riley's. I tried to delete the folder. Windows threw up an error. This file is in use. I unplugged the laptop and smashed it with a hammer. Took it to a scrapyard and left it in a bin of twisted metal. But last night my desktop computer powered on by itself. A folder appeared on the screen. Help. And inside, a new video. It showed my bedroom door, just starting to open. Epilogue. If you find an old laptop and there's a folder named Help, don't open it. Don't watch the videos. And if you already have, don't look behind you. They hate being seen, and they always come back.